everyone. I wanted to do a tutorial on this pink image that I did a few months back, probably about a month ago. I had a few people request that I do a tutorial for this one, so I thought I would go ahead and get it done. The first thing I did, and I didn't do this in the video part, is I went into Camera Raw and adjusted the white balance. And then I also zoomed in on her skin and I got rid of all of the blemishes on her skin. And the way you can do that is if you hit Command plus, you can zoom in and you can take your patch tool, which is over here near the spot healing brush tool, and you can find a blemish. Let's just say like this is a blemish here. You circle that, so you select it, and then you drag it to an area that is similar in color and texture and tone. And it will get rid of that blemish. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that that's what I did with this photo before I started the video. Now I'm going to go ahead and click View, Fit on Screen, and have this image fit on the screen. Actually, I think I might zoom out a little bit more. You can do that by hitting Command minus or View zoom out. I am going to crop this image like this. I'm going to put her in this rule of thirds area here. And I'm going to right click and select crop. And the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to even out this background a little bit better. So I'm going to take my eyedropper tool and select just this kind of darker pink here. There's a lighter pink, but I'm going to go with this darker pink. And as you can see, this top box here has now turned into that pink color. So I am going to take my rectangular marquee tool and I'm going to drag it around her. I'm going to hit select and mask, and then I am going to feather this to probably around, I'm going to do 600. Oh, my computer's going slow. So I'm going to do around 600 and then hit OK. And now what I'm going to do is currently this selection, if I do any adjustments in this selection, it's going to affect her. I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to hit select inverse. And now I'm going to go to layer, new fill layer, solid color, and hit OK. And as you can see, it selected that pink color that we had selected earlier in the image. And because I inversed the selection, it's only affecting her. And the reason I did that selection around her is just to add in this background pink color without affecting her. But I also wanted to feather it so it wasn't such a harsh transition. Now, I obviously have a line here that I don't want, so I'm gonna try something here. I haven't done this before, so I'm gonna hit layer, duplicate layer. Yeah, that got rid of it pretty good. I'm gonna do that one more time, layer, duplicate layer. And as you can see, it got rid of the line there. Now, if you find that there's a little too much of the coloring on your subject now, you can simply go in and take a black brush on the white layer mask and you can remove some of that coloring, like so. I'm going to bring my opacity up on my brush a little bit. And as you can see, you can just kind of erase some of that color off. Okay, now the next step I'm going to do is I am going to go to Layer, New Fill Layer Gradient, And I am going to click on this gradient box, and I'm going to select the color of pink that's in the image on both of these sliders here. So the way you do that is you click on the slider, click on the color box, and then with your eyedropper tool, select the color of pink you want, hit OK, and then do the same thing on this slider box. Select the color of pink you want, and then hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this open, and I'm going to drag this gradient down just a tad and move it over to the left just a little bit. So right about, I think there is pretty good. Now I'm going to actually add a little more space over here to the left side. So I'm going to crop it, right click and select crop. And since this is a pretty even pink tone, I'm going to take my rectangular marquee tool, and I am going to draw over this section here. And then I'm going to select with my eyedropper tool, I'm going to click on one of these, this background color here, or this background layer, and I'm going to select the pink. And then I'm going to take my brush at a 100% opacity. I'm going to go up here to this top layer and then select layer, new layer, OK. And I'm going to paint in over that selection there. And then I'm going to hit select, deselect. Okay, that turned out pretty good. Okay, now the final thing I'm going to do here is I am going to go to layer, new layer. I'm going to put my blend mode on soft light and hit OK. I'm going to take my eyedropper tool and select her hair color. And then I'm going to take a brush, and on that layer right there, I am going to take a brush with that color I just selected, that kind of brown color, and I'm going to just paint it over her hair. Now, this is obviously really intense, and we're not going to keep it like that. I'm going to lower the opacity of that layer until I like the intensity of that color. So I think 40 is going to be good. Yeah, I like 40. And now the rest of this image honestly was just a bunch of dodging and burning. So I might try something here. I think with her dress, I'm going to go to layer, new layer, soft light for the blend mode. And I'm going to take my eyedropper tool and select on a white part of the brightest white part of her dress. And then I'm going to take a brush, and I'm going to see if I like this. I'm going to paint over her dress. Again, this intensity is pretty strong, so I'm not going to keep it that bright. I'm just going to go over to that layer now and decrease the opacity to around, let's try 40. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now the rest is just honestly dodging and burning. So I'm going to zoom in onto her face by hitting Command plus. And I'm going to go to layer, new adjustment layer, brightness contrast. And I'm going to bring the brightness up pretty high and the contrast up pretty high. And then I am going to hit Command I on the brightness contrast layer mask. So the white layer mask will now be black. And basically what I'm doing with that is I'm hiding the effect, and then I'm just gonna, when I paint over that black layer mask with a white brush, I'm gonna reveal the effect. Now I'm gonna bring the flow of my brush down to around 15 and the flow down to around 20. And I'm going to take a white soft brush, and I'm going to paint over or reveal these highlighted areas here. And you can always adjust the opacity of your brush to your liking. And I'm just going to go in here, get right here above her lip and on the edges of her lip. And then I'm going to go right here on this highlighted part of her lip. I think I might go on her eyes a little too in the whites. And then I'm going to increase the opacity a little bit to around 30, and I'm going to decrease the size of my brush, and I'm just going to paint over the catch lights in her eyes. Okay, and then I'm just going to do this throughout the whole image. So I'm going to go in here and paint over these highlighted areas on her dress. Right in here. And like I said, you know, I do this quickly just because if you're anything like me, I really don't want to spend 30 minutes watching someone get crazy with detail work. I just want to know the gist of what they're doing and then move on. So that's why I'm not being overly particular right now. So you just want to find all of the highlighted spots on her dress for your subject. And I'm just going to go in and dodge and burn those areas right here on her skin. And we'll do some little dodging here on her lower half of her dress. Okay, so I am going to zoom out, and I'm actually going to go to fit on screen. And let's see. Yes, that's pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to be burning. So I'm going to go to layer, new adjustment layer, brightness contrast, and I'm going to bring down the brightness and the contrast. Actually, I'm going to bring up the contrast on this. And then I'm going to hit Command I and convert this white layer mask to a black layer mask to reveal or to hide the effect. And then I'm going to use a white soft brush to reveal it. So I'm going to hit Command plus and zoom in on her face. And then I am going to set the opacity of my brush to around 20 and the flow around 15. And then I'm going to just go in here and hit these shadowed areas of her skin. So right here under the nose in this little dip right there in the center of her lips, this little area here, right here on her cheeks, the darker parts of her hair. And then I'm going to do the same on her dress. I'm going to just hit these shadowed areas. And like I said before, this is just a quick job. The shadowed areas on her arms. And down here. And then I'm going to fit it onto my screen and see how I like it. Okay, let's put these all into a group here and see what it looks like at this point. So there's the before and there's the after. Now I am just going to add a hint of pink to her. So I think what I'm going to do is go to layer, new fill layer, solid color, and I'm going to bring the opacity down to around 20 and keep the blend mode on normal. And then I'm going to pick this pink color I think maybe right about there. Let me zoom out and see how I like that. I think I'm going to decrease the opacity just a tad more to right around 15. Okay, I think I like that. That's pretty good. I might even lower it just a tad more. Let's try 10%. There you go. Okay, and then the final step is I have a texture that I created, and I'm just going to put that on top of here and see if I like it. It's a new one, so all I did was hit select all, edit, copy, and then I went to this and put edit, paste, and I'm just going to go to edit, transform. Here, let me get rid of this layer. Oops, I put two textures and I don't want that. So I'm going to go to edit, transform, scale, and I'm just going to scale this out. And then I'm going to set the blend mode to soft light for the layer. And then what I'm going to do is just decrease the opacity a little bit, maybe to around 65. And then I'm going to create a white layer mask on the texture layer by clicking on this button here. And I'm going to take a soft black brush set to an opacity of 100 and a flow of 100. And I am going to just erase the texture off of her. Not too intensely. It's okay if there's a little spillover, but I do want to get it off the majority. And I think I might decrease the opacity of that texture just a little more. Maybe to around 50. Okay, and then I think I'm going to try something different. I'm going to go to Layer, Flatten Image. I am going to see if I like this. I may not, but I'm going to go to Filter, Render, Lighting Effects. This always takes a while to pull up here. And I am going to bring this down. And let me see here. I'm going to pick a white, I think. And I'm going to bring the intensity down quite a bit. I think I'm going to put the intensity at around 9. And then I'm going to move it over more to the corner. And then actually what we might do here, let's scale this out a little bit. Kind of move it around, you mess around with a little bit. And I'm gonna, let's play with the colorizing and see what that does here. You can just pick different colors here and mess around, which I don't know if I will like any of them, but we will try. You know, maybe I'm going to see if I even like this because I don't think I'm going to. Yeah, I don't like that. So I'm going to just undo it all and just keep the pink. The next thing I'm going to do here is I am going to, you know, and that's honestly how you learn Photoshop. You just try things and decide if you like them or not. And so I encourage you just mess around, and if you don't like something, then just don't do it. Try something different. For this final step, I'm going to go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and Color Lookup. And I'm just going to mess around with the different presets they have. So let's try Soft Warming Look. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. I do not like that one either. You just mess around with the different ones and see if there's one that you like. None there, so let's go down here. Nope. Maybe we'll try this Fuji F125 Kodak 2393, and then I'm just going to decrease the opacity of it just a tad to around, let's try 30. Okay, that's pretty good. And then I'm going to go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Color Balance. And I'm going to just add a little yellow to the image in the midtones. So I'm going to select midtones, yellow, and let's bump a little red in there. So I have my yellows at -22 and my reds at +12. And I think I like that. I might just try, let's see, I'm feeling a little crazy with the gradients here, but I think I'm gonna try something. Okay, so with this, what I did is I clicked on Radiant, and then I brought the angle to 7.59, which moved it kind of over here. And the scale, I am going to put it around 80. Let's try 80. And then I'm gonna actually rotate it a little bit more to 4.4. And then I'm gonna click on Gradient, click on this bottom box, and select a pink color. And I think I'm gonna keep this box here more of that white color. Or actually, I kind of like this peach color, so we'll try that. And then I'm gonna actually rotate the angle again. Let's see, let's put it at 7.13. And then I'm gonna take a black brush and I'm gonna set the opacity to around 50. And just kind of paint a little bit of that off of her. I'm just gonna actually do some clicks, like so. And then decrease the opacity of that gradient just a tad to around 70. Okay, so I think that's it. That's pretty much all I would do. One thing I am going to change really quick, I just noticed this, it's kind of bugging me, is I'm going to go down here to the background layer and create a layer, duplicate layer. And I'm just going to take my clone stamp tool, and I'm going to select her hair and just kind of bring it up a little bit. So as you can see before, there's kind of like that dip there. And right there, I just kind of filled it in a little bit. I think you could probably do that with the liquify tool as well. And then I'm going to take my brush, create a layer mask on this duplicate layer. And I'm just going to paint right there with a black brush. I'm just going to take a little bit of that off, that little bit of hair that was sticking out. So that's it. I hope that was simple enough to follow. And then, as you can see, that is the final image. So Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm excited to add some more tutorials here soon. All right, thank you.